Hello. Happy Murder She Ate Wednesday, guys. Welcome back for another episode. Was that a nice intro?
Yes, it was.
Sorry we missed last week, but we are here with some fresh stuff this week.
Okay. And yeah, missed last week. We're back at it. Been busy, real busy lately.
Yeah.
So.
Been pretty hectic.
Okay. What's going on, guys? So we got dinner, delicious plate of chicken wings. We got some chicken legs. I smoked them at 225 for about like 75 minutes, and then at 450 for about 20 minutes. And they came out looking
They look
great.
fresh. I think we did wings last time too. Sorry.
And I also have this one piece of bone marrow. It actually just arrived. I ordered it from US Wellness Meats.
And then I have some kimchi that I'm going to have some of right in this moment.
And I have a Zevia soda.
And I'm going to have a little bit of that bone marrow just for yum's sake, nutrition's.
And if you guys are new to this, what we do every Wednesday, or at least most Wednesdays,
Now we can't say every.
is we eat keto foods and hang out. Maybe you guys could eat dinner with us, and we just talk about crimes and mysteries. And I've been getting more into mysteries, less into crimes lately.
Yeah.
So like today is not even we have one crime, and then I have one that is not a mystery. It's like a psychological experiment. It's just interesting to me. I think it's very thought-provoking and like conversation starting. So get ready to converse, guys. I was just thinking, Error ASMR, you remember him talking about EMFs?
Yeah.
He would probably have a fit if he saw like the setup it takes to do this. A lot of EMFs popping off in
I'd
here.
love to see his setup. Someone asked what kimchi. This is Sunja's brand. I've only ever seen it in Whole Foods, but it's my personal favorite. This one's spicy though.
You guys eating anything? What's going on with you? We're not going to start right away since we're a little early.
I think kimchi's better cold. Someone asked.
Kimchi? As opposed to like heat it up? Yeah,
Yeah,
I've only ever had it cold.
I don't know if it's served cold. I mean hot.
Have you guys ever had bone marrow?
Is it fully cooked through?
It's kind of raw still.
Oh.
But oh, you wanted some.
Yeah.
I'll try it first before I give it to you.
You know I don't like it raw.
Still at work, not eating. I am on a 1 meal a day train.
It's great. If it works for you. In Cali, eating Quest chips and a Lily's bar. Sounds good.
Cali.
Awesome Pizza Planet shirt. Beef stew for dinner here. Nice. Beef stew sounds great. We're going to Steakhouse to celebrate me apply for retirement today. That's exciting. What age do most people apply for? Oh my gosh. What age do most people apply for retirement at?
You apply?
Like 65?
Hey, Julie, come here. Come on.
Yeah, I feel like 65 seems reasonable.
I think the average age people shoot for is like 60, 65, but...
Yeah. 65, I think, makes the most sense to me.
Hey, Julius, no. Stop barking. Bad boy, bad boy. You want a treat? Come here. You want a treat? That's probably what he's doing. He wants our attention for a treat. Here, it's cooked through good.
Okay.
And I put salt on it.
We are not eating fried chicken. We're eating smoked wings and smoked drumsticks.
How many more carbs do you add when working out? I don't think you need to add any carbs, but it's something you could potentially do. You could play around with it, see if you like it.
This is delicious.
But there's no requirement to add carbs just because you're working out.
This is the best bone marrow I've ever had.
It is. Other than the one that we got at the Bacchanal. Do you want more?
No. What, you think the Bacchanal was better?
I don't know, it was like all nice and there was like pork on top.
Oh yeah, that's true. See, he's turning into an Indian. You say no, you don't want more, and then they just serve you up anyway.
I think that's all mothers. Most mothers.
No, not. I don't think Americans do that as much.
Well, my family's Italian, so
Italians
they do that.
do it. I know Asian cultures do it, especially like. Oh, I guess this plays right into what I'm saying. But one of the things I grew up saying, or like learned from my mom, was like, if you talk about a food before you're gonna leave, you got to eat some of it, a little of it.
Julius is very distracting. What do you mean? If you talk about a food?
Yeah, it's bad luck. If my mom's like, "Oh, do you want some goldfish?" and you're just like, "No," and she's like, "Okay, well, we'll take like 3 or 4." So then she would make me take some, and then I would eat them and leave.
What type of smoker do you have? We have a Traeger one. I like it. At first, I didn't like it that much because it couldn't really do the job of a grill, but now I think I like it even more.
Yeah, I think so too. As long as you have the time and the patience to put something on like 6 hours in advance.
Those are the best kinds of foods. The ones you like are waiting all day for.
Mm-hmm. Miley's sinuses are fantastic.
Her sinuses?
Yeah, someone asked about him.
If Miley was a pop singer, that would be her name, Miley Sinus.
Oh, that's a really good one. Ooh.
Did you guys bake the wings? No, we smoked them.
On our smoker. Dang, Matt, your shirt. A lot of people loving your shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe you guys know this. I watched a video on which water additives, Mio, Crystal Light, etc., would break a fast. Which could you have not fasting? I think you meant the question the other way around, which you could have fasting.
I don't know. I hate questions like this. It's just
especially
like
water enhancers.
Too minute of details for me to really care about. Like, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
Just use water enhancers if you want to use water enhancers, I would say.
Yeah, that's what I would say too. Chicken wings. When you guys get chicken wings full like this, do you usually cut them before you cook them?
Yeah, I like
to just cook them
I don't.
all at once. Are these done? Yeah.
They are?
I think so.
What seasoning? Whoa,
lemon pepper.
A little burnt. Making your curry for the first time using chicken thighs. Yum!
I just put dairy back in my diet because I'm not getting calcium anywhere else besides sardines, and I think I became deficient from eating so much chocolate and overdosing on magnesium. Woot! Yeah, sometimes if you're doing like a limited vegetable, no dairy diet, the only real place you get calcium is from bones. So like sardines. I always try to eat like the end like this. I'll eat a little bit of the bone. And I actually got that from Chris Masterjohn. He says to do that. He knows what he's talking about, so I listened. And it also tastes good.
Just the tip, LOL.
Should we start? Whoa.
Yeah. What?
Should we start?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, I usually eat first though while you go. Now I have to go first?
We can talk about my stuff first.
Okay.
Because we can both eat while we talk.
I really want to lead with the Mouse Utopia experiment though.
Okay. So
How many of you guys have heard of the Mouse Utopia experiment? How did Murder, She Ate get started? We just both really liked...
And then we we like
True
crime.
crime.
And we were like, well, let's do something non-keto. So we picked a day, time, and then we took a poll on names. And I think the top one was crime and nourishment, but I like Murder, She Ate, so I kind of just like pushed for it.
A lot of people saying they've never heard of the Mouse Utopia experiment.
Yeah. Is that the one you like showed me?
Yeah, I sent it to you last week.
But I didn't watch it, so good.
Yeah, I figured. Okay, so
Wow.
I don't know much about this either. I just learned about it about 2 weeks ago. So, okay, I'll go first.
It's hard to eat these wings.
It is kind of hard, yeah. I'm sure you'll figure it out though.
Thanks.
Lost my job, no insurance, put back on weight I lost with keto. I'm just trying to eat nothing to get back into keto, but hard to eat keto food when you finally break week-long fast?
You're just gonna ease back into eating food. Yeah, you're gonna feel really full at first. Maybe you won't digest things well depending on how you digest things.
I think you just need a more moderate approach to things, not such an extreme fasting, unless you're doing it in a healthy manner. But
Or because like she just lost her job, right? And
you can't buy food and stuff.
well, like yeah, if budget's an issue, yeah, just buying meats in bulk will be good too.
Okay, should I start with the crime case or the mouse experiment?
Everyone quickly say crime or mouse.
Crime or mouse?
The first person to say, we'll just go with it.
Crime or mouse, guys?
Is our inner crime?
Crime. Okay, we're doing crime.
Thank you, Martina's Life Bites.
A lot of people saying mouse though. Mouse definitely got more votes, but crime was first.
Oh no, literally everyone said mouse.
We gotta stick to our. Come on.
Martina.
Okay, this is the story of Christopher Porco, dating November 15th, 2004. I'll skim through this a little quicker than usual because I want to get to other stuff. But this is a very interesting case, too. So, November 15th, 2004, an intruder breaks into the home of Peter and Joan Porco using a spare key and possibly disabling the alarm system. It's unknown, what happened with the alarm. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Intruder grabs an axe from the garage, goes to the upstairs bedroom where the couple is sleeping and attacks. The father is killed. The father is attacked first and killed. The mother has multiple blows to the face.
Oh my god, with an axe?
Yeah, with an axe. So first thing I'm always thinking is when the murder weapon is from inside the house. To me, that's like setting off some kind of alarm bell. It's not an intruder breaking in with the intent to murder.
Yeah.
Because usually you come with a weapon, right?
So are you thinking the mom at this point? But how do you axe yourself in the face? The wife, I mean?
I don't think... No, that's not what I'm thinking.
Okay.
You don't have enough info yet, though. Christopher Porco, their son, is notified of the attack on his parents by a reporter of a local paper. So that's his first hearing of it, the son. And the son is going to become a focal...
Does he live nearby?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
He's asked for a comment about his parents being killed, and that's his first time ever hearing about it. So it's like obviously very startling. If someone calls you and they're like, what do you have to say about your mom and dad getting chopped up with an axe? And you're like, what are you talking about? I'd be like, is this a joke?
Yeah.
So Chris calls the police to inquire about the attack. Police drive out to the college campus that Chris is at. So he's in, I believe, grad school. And they start questioning him. So the family had 2 sons. The other son is serving in the Navy, and Chris, the one in question, is attending the University of Rochester, which is 200 miles away from his parents' house.
Okay.
The other son, alibi, is like easily checked out because he's, there's all the timings and stuff. I assume when you're in the Navy. I assume you're just like punching in at the clocks constantly, so they always know where you are.
In my mind, you're just always on like a ship or a submarine.
Yeah, I think you're probably on base a lot of the time, but I have no idea. Submarines are scary. One time for Boy Scouts, we slept in a submarine, and it wasn't even underwater. It was just at the dock, and it's so like claustrophobic, and you just have a really small bed.
He's told me this story several times, and I love it because he talks about how horrifying it is. It's like the scariest thing that's ever happened to him in the world.
I think after we watched Hunter Killer, I told you.
He like told me this horrific story, and I'm like, oh, it sounds cool.
Okay, so, yeah. It actually turns out that Joan Porco, the wife, did not die in the attack and is fighting to survive when police arrive at the scene.
And they don't know, or they know?
They don't know what.
They know she's alive?
No, she it's like basically, this is how I understand it, movie style, where she like breathes and they're like, oh, she's alive. That type of a thing.
Yeah, you would think okay.
When investigators go through the house, they discover tons of blood all over the place. Nothing seemed to have been stolen and no drawers were open. It wasn't even like a staged burglary. It was purely murder. The father's body is at the bottom of the stairs, and there is blood throughout most of the house.
Whoa. I guess the axe will drag around blood.
The mother is found in bed.
Okay.
When police realize that the mother was alive, they begin asking her questions about the crime. Like she's just like struggling for life, barely conscious essentially. And they do like a bunch of tests. They're like, move your right hand to gauge her responses, and she complies. She like moves her leg, she like nods, she does this. What is that? Shakes her head.
Yeah.
And then they ask her, did a family member do this? She nods.
Yes.
Now, by now, the police know the children's names. Did Jonathan do this to you? No. Did Christopher do this to you? She nods yes.
Oh my god.
So right away, they're thinking, okay, we got our guy. Chris.
Wait, did he not have a checked out alibi that he was at school for 200 miles away?
We're going to get to his alibi.
Okay, sorry.
Detectives and paramedics are both there at this time, and she fully responds to the commands, but she says... So this is basically their reports. And it's not just like investigators there. There's also paramedics that corroborated this. Mm-hmm. Spare key is still in the front door. The home alarm was set for the night at 10 p.m. and it was disabled at 2:14 a.m.
So it's someone that knows everything. The spare key and the alarm.
Once in a while, the father would get up to let the dog out in the middle of the night, and he would turn the alarm off and not turn it back on.
But would he leave the spare key in the front door?
There's theories around that, but no,
Okay.
probably not.
Yeah, not likely.
The phone line was cut, and security system had damage on the control panel.
Okay. On what control panel? Like the house?
They didn't really specify. I think it's probably when you come in, at the front door, there's usually like the keypad thing. There was some damage to it.
Okay, so it looks like maybe someone just like smashed it.
Yeah, I
Instead
don't know
of
to what
entering.
extent the damage was, but yeah.
Going in for a drumstick. Drumsticks are my fave.
And whenever we cook dinner, guys, we always cook a bunch, and then I'll have this for like breakfast tomorrow or my first meal tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's really convenient. So really, you just have to cook one meal a day if you are always eating leftovers for lunch the next day. Some people don't like that, though. Jonathan's alibi, the son, confirmed, as we said. Chris, the other son, is 21 years old. He's in medical school. He was known for balling out and buying everyone drinks and paying for dinners. That's the type of guy he was.
Okay.
Self-identified as a baller. He told everyone his family was very wealthy. He strongly identified as like, my parents running the game.
Rich kid.
Yeah, he told that to everyone who would listen, basically. In 2003, so the murder was 2004. In 2003, Chris was told he was being kicked out of school for bad grades. He also forged transcripts to get into college in the first place, and they're finding this out retroactively after the crime is committed. He then started attending a community college. He continued getting terrible grades while at community college.
And do his parents know about this too?
They're kind of kept in the dark, but...
I would keep my parents in the dark.
Yeah. At a certain point, his parents do confront him about the grades, and he told them they were incorrect. He had he just told them they were incorrect, like just some excuses, like my teacher is going to change the grades, that type of thing.
My parents would believe that.
My parents would. And come to find out, he has a history of lying about a lot of important things. So he's been taking out a number of loans, totaling at this point $45,000. His father discovered that Chris forged his signature on a loan application.
Whoa. The dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the son's name is Chris, and the
Right.
dad is now discovering he's forging his signature. And Chris, the son, buys a yellow Jeep Wrangler with custom tires.
So a terrible purchase, first of all. Because it's yellow
Yeah.
and it's a Jeep Wrangler.
I would never buy a Jeep Wrangler, but yellow is just...
What does that say about a person? Like, what kind of person are you when you're buying a Jeep Wrangler with custom rims?
A car can say a lot about you for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is why so many people spend just crazy amounts of money on cars.
Yeah, because you can drive it. Yeah, it's like the most outward facing.
Reflection, yeah.
Okay, so.
His father confronts him about the forged signatures now, And he says, if you use my credit again without my permission, I'll be forced to report you for forgery to the police. So he threatens him. He says, come on, stop.
Good.
There was also a reported altercation at school where Chris nearly strangled someone in a fight before people pulled him off. And the way it's described is like he essentially, if no one was around, he would have killed the guy.
He was like already strangling him. And
Yeah.
Then, okay.
I think anytime you're strangling someone, that's like...
You're not like, I'm going to do this for 10 seconds.
That's where it's just like, okay, that guy's not in a fight. He's just a serial killer.
Yeah, he's just
when
not a serial killer.
When you're fighting, you're punching. If you actually choke someone, that's like serial killer level stuff.
Not serial killer.
Well, a killer, whatever.
I think like,
Some kind of
your
killer.
family's gonna get killed if you don't kill this person. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. In 2005, as part of the investigation, police traveled to San Diego to seize a stolen laptop that Chris sold on eBay. So he stole the laptop, sold it on eBay to someone in San Diego. They find it.
This was before or after the murder?
After. 2005.
Okay. I was gonna say that's a lot of work before.
Yeah, so now they're investigating, and the laptop turns out to be his parents' laptop that was stolen at a previous break-in, not the murder night break-in, but a break-in a few months prior.
Okay. A lot of people are asking about the sauce I'm eating, and a lot of people are right. It is just G. Hughes barbecue sauce. Thank you for the clarification.
And now we're putting together some patterns here. There was also a break-in at the veterinary clinic that Chris worked at, and things were stolen.
Like ketamine and stuff, like.
Actually, yeah, I think it was, stuff like that. So, Chris's alibi. He claims he was on campus all night, never left campus. Police go to the surveillance footage of the campus, since there's always a lot of surveillance at campuses. And they find surveillance footage of his yellow Jeep leaving campus that night.
What time?
We'll get to times in a second. He says he fell asleep in a lounge area all night, and people at the lounge would confirm. Surveillance shows him leaving campus at 10:36 p.m.
Okay.
Remember, the alarm was cut off at 2:14 a.m. at 200 miles away. It's about a 3-hour drive.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
He says he was moving his Jeep because you can't park overnight on campus. And that makes sense because a lot of people, I remember having to do that all the time.
Yeah, me too.
At 10:45 p.m., a toll collector remembers seeing the yellow Jeep.
Yeah.
So this is pretty crucial. No, Miley, no.
We
no
got
chicken.
it. We got a Miley spotting.
Miley sinus. So this is crucial, pretty crucial to the case because, come on, Miley. Apparently, the reason the toll person remembers this is because 1, there's not a ton of people going on that toll road. 2, he's driving a yellow Jeep, which stands out.
So 2, he also thought it was a terrible purchase to buy a yellow Jeep Wrangler.
He was about to sneak off and take a smoke break. And apparently the toll booth owner person would drive through a lot at certain times to just make sure the toll people were on duty.
Okay.
So he was like, oh man, that's boss. That could be the boss. So he remembers being worried and then he's like, oh no, it's just a yellow crazy Jeep. It's not the boss.
Oh.
And then, and then the last reason is because the car was driving so fast that he was actually scared, faster than people normally drive to the toll booth.
Okay.
So with all those reasons, it makes me believe the eyewitness more so than just a normal eyewitness without...
Well, you don't often see a yellow Jeep Wrangler with rims. If someone sees that...
I don't think I've ever seen one.
Right. Me neither. I haven't seen a yellow car in God knows how long. But yeah, if someone called... If that person, they weren't asked, did you see the yellow Jeep Wrangler? He said he saw a yellow Jeep Wrangler?
I don't know. We don't have that info.
Okay.
Okay. At 4:30 a.m., the phone line is cut at the house. At 8:30 a.m., so we definitely have activity at the house around 2:15 to 4:30. We have alarm cut 2:15, phone cut 4:30.
Okay.
At 8:30 a.m., Chris's Jeep is seen returning to school. So that fits
Wasn't
the
moving
window.
His car.
Yeah, that fits the window perfectly, 100% perfect. Chris is indicted for the murder of his father and attempted murder of mother. No blood is found in the Jeep whatsoever, but a neighbor also reports seeing the Jeep parked in the driveway the morning of the murder when leaving to go to work.
Wait, sorry, repeat that. Someone just said they ate sucralose once and didn't poop for a week. That seems like a weird. That was definitely not the sucralose. It was definitely the 17 Quest bars you had.
Yeah, what was the sucralose in, I guess? That seems extreme.
Yeah. Okay.
But so there was, the neighbor said that he saw Chris's car in the driveway that morning when he left for work.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. Case open and close.
Yeah, seems to be. Family and friends are fully in support of Chris. They post $250,000 bail and they get him out of jail. And his mother is on Chris's side. He says there's no way he has anything to do with this.
Post murder?
Yeah.
But she nodded that it was him.
But she no longer believes that. She doesn't remember that. She now believes he has nothing to do with it. He would never do that.
I would think whatever like testimony or whatever you say closest to the time of the attack is the truest.
Yeah, but she wasn't fully conscious and stuff.
You don't say yes that your child did this unless you're sure your child did this.
Yeah, it's just questionable what kind of state she was in, but yeah. I think there is a lot to be said for someone like right after the crime happens. Where are we? Oh, a window had been open and a screen was cut at the home.
Why wouldn't he just walk it? Oh, he wanted to make it seem like.
It seems like that maybe it was just like a cover-up type of thing because no one had gone through the screen clearly because it was just like a little side of it cut.
Yeah, that's the mistake people always make. They're like, I'm going to pretend I came in here, but I'm not actually going to go in. Just go in the window,
There's
right?
a lot of cases like that, yeah.
Yeah, just do it.
And also the spare key was found in the door, so it doesn't make sense that a window would be cut, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Where are we? I keep getting lost. Chris's mother begins defending him. And then a fingerprint is found. So the defense makes a big deal about this. A fingerprint found where the telephone wire was cut, and it does not match Chris.
Maybe he had an accomplice?
Yeah, or it could have just been like any other random person, previous homeowner, telephone repair guy, anything like that.
Yeah.
That's the counter argument. The mother wrote a letter to the local paper complaining that the cops were only focusing on her son and not trying to find the real killer. And then shortly after that letter, the paper received a number of letters from a mysterious person that bragged about the murder.
Who? Okay.
What do you think about that? Someone's writing into the paper.
I don't know. Why? Oh, I think Chris would do that. He's very braggy. He talked about how rich his parents was. Like, he was the baller who bought, like, he wants the notoriety. He wants the fame.
Well, it's probably just trying to cover up the crime more. Like the mom might have written the letter.
I thought, like, if he saw it, he'd be like, yeah, that's me. I feel good,
Yeah.
Crazy people are crazy.
Joe, yeah, okay. So in June 2006, the trial gets underway. And we find some alarming details about what happened during the attack.
Okay.
So the dad apparently was attacked in bed.
His body was moved?
Mother was also attacked in bed. And now I don't know what Chris is doing while all this is happening, but apparently the attack, disabled a certain area of the father's brain to where he didn't perceive himself as being injured whatsoever. So he got up, brushed his teeth, went downstairs, packed his lunch, dripping blood. So there's blood all over the place.
This is too much for me.
Put the dishes away, and then he opened the front door, didn't go outside, and then went to his final resting place, which was at the bottom of the stairs. And the mother didn't move at all after the attack. She just remained in bed. Now, the defense's case against, that Chris didn't do it, is basically that the dad disabled the alarm to let the dog out, got locked outside, had to resort to the spare key, and at that time was then attacked by an opportunistic intruder type of person.
Okay.
And they do give a person who it could be, who is a relative, I think an uncle who's a firefighter, so the firefighter axe, and who is also associated with organized crime and has done previous time in jail. But there's no real like ties or anything other than just that this guy seems to be a bad guy that has used axes in the past, and he's related.
Axes, yeah. Can you just buy an axe?
But the axe was the family's axe.
But can you just buy an axe?
Yeah.
That seems dangerous.
Well, people like chop wood and stuff.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. That's what axes are for.
I don't do chopping wood.
And then there becomes a big issue where they're arguing, obviously, the validity of the mother's immediate testimony when she's laying on the floor, like saying her son did it.
Yeah.
And it's easy to refute that because she's actually in court saying, no, I don't think he did it.
Ah, that's tough.
And we come to find out Chris's parents had an insurance policy worth $1.1 million.
Well, that's a reason to kill someone. That's motivating enough.
Especially for Chris being in debt and being so money driven.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Eventually, Chris is convicted and sentenced to consecutive 50-year sentences, one for each count.
Good.
Attempted and actual murder, second degree, both, I believe. And the judge at the sentencing says his biggest fear is that what happened that night is likely to happen again if Chris is ever freed.
Yeah, if you can kill his parents, you can kill anyone.
And there's not really too much mystery to it. It's just like Chris probably did it, but there are some people who think it could be a potential wrongful conviction. But
No.
I think just the car time lining up so perfectly to me is like that's.
It's also a house act.
That's
It's
our
also
guy.
no one intruded. There was just a cut in it. There's so many other things. I mean, the motive is reason enough. I feel like not reason enough, but kind of scary. Anyone not to think someone can buy an axe.
It is actually. I was thinking that too.
What?
You think that we wouldn't be able to buy axes? Like you're.
Why is that
That's
scary?
a funny thought to me.
Well, it's scary.
Because of
someone
your
said.
limited freedoms, you just think we wouldn't be able to buy axes.
I've just never seen an axe in a store. Where do you get them?
They're in stores.
What stores?
Like a hardware store will have it. Home Depot probably has
Just
them.
like on the shelves?
Yeah.
I've literally never seen one in my life.
You have never been in the countryside. Like the countryside of Michigan, every single family has an axe. My dad has an axe at home.
Yeah, it just seems to me, because you can buy chopped wood, which is terrible.
Yeah, but you actually have trees on your property and stuff that you have to like do this to.
Yeah, so that to me is fascinating, that your dad like chops down
He
trees.
chops wood, yeah. Like he'll cut down a branch that's like interfering with something.
But you can use an electric saw. But your dad just like chops
No.
things.
He uses a chainsaw, but then
Oh.
once it's on the ground, you chop.
Okay. I'm picturing your dad just like Bear Grylls chopping away at a big tree,
No.
which would take forever. I have many axes around my house, but I live on a farm. That's more insight into Error ASMR's life.
We're learning a lot about Error ASMR.
Yeah,
You
you're
gotta have
gonna-
him on the show one day.
You're just gonna give away your location one day. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, my dad does a bunch of crazy stuff. Like he was up on a really high ladder, probably like 50 feet high, with a chainsaw, cutting down stuff.
Yeah. I guess I've just never seen an axe in store. I've only seen them like in schools behind the glass.
So you live a sheltered life.
No, I don't live a sheltered life. I've actually visited lots of parts of the world. You live a sheltered life. You've only been to Canada and Italy now. I'm just
I
kidding.
saw a machete at a home goods store.
I've definitely been sheltered. Like I think we've both been sheltered.
Yeah.
Also, my parents aren't like outdoorsy and your parents are. So I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Axe cologne. Yeah.
that's funny. Okay, should we get to the mouse thing? It's already 6.
Oh, I thought you wanted to do your.
Okay, yeah, we can talk
Yeah.
about mine.
You don't really have a case or anything, right? It's just like
No.
a talking point.
Yeah.
Okay. We're doing talking points now.
Talking point. Because I didn't have time today. It was a busy day for me. But I thought I would bring something nice to to the table because this fascinates me. So I was going to do like missing 411 theories because I love that stuff, but I know like Matt really doesn't. I don't know if he would like enjoy the conversation.
I like it. I just am unwilling to believe that it's paranormal. Like you
and like
are.
I feel like I feel a responsibility to convince you of it, so I just like didn't want to have to do that tonight. You know, Julius is crying.
He's hungry.
I think he just wants our chicken. Okay, so we actually had a little conversation about this the other night: superstitions, and then misconceptions, beliefs. So I thought like I would look up a bunch of really popular ones and some ones that are interesting. So just like there's random ones that I could think of off the top of my head. There's a language one and there's a bunch of food ones.
Okay.
So that'd be it.
You just like Googled popular misconceptions?
But I don't feel like, some are misconceptions and then some are superstitions.
Okay.
So I guess I'm interested to know, like, how many people are superstitious? Because I grew up in a household that is very superstitious. Like, everyone in my family is very superstitious, so I'm just am, right? Like, if you grew up in a religious household or, like, you know, you have traditional Christmas things.
In general, are Indian women superstitious? Would you say that?
I would say Indian culture is
Indian
superstitious.
culture.
Yeah. So like some things that I grew up with my parents actually following is like if a black cat crosses past your car when you're driving home, then it's bad luck, and we wouldn't go home right away. We would like drive around the block and then come back and go home. So I do that still today. Like if that happened to me, I would follow through and Matt would just have to deal with it. Looking into a black mirror is bad luck for 7 years.
Looking into a black mirror?
No, sorry, looking into a broken mirror. So I don't like to look into broken mirrors. Walking under a ladder, that's like everyone, right? Oh,
yeah.
Opening an umbrella in a house. Like, what are these? Like, what?
What about the Chinese fan of death?
Oh my God!
You know that one?
That's the one I looked up.
I think it's Korean.
It's called fan of death. It's in the Korean culture. So running an electric fan in a closed room with unopened or no windows will prove fatal. So it's like, it's crazy that we have all these things, right?
I mean, that one you can just literally do and not die, so I don't...
Well, do you avoid walking under ladders if you can?
Yeah, I'm not going to walk under a ladder.
Like what?
Just because it's lower risk than walking
Is
under
it?
a ladder.
Yeah, I guess. The 5-second rule? Dropping food? Like, what is that about? Who came up with that? It's so common.
The idea behind it is probably like it takes 5 seconds for like a lot of bacteria to climb onto it or something. That would be my thinking.
Yeah, but like you're picturing the bacteria like climbing. It's such a weird thing. Also, read some people's misconceptions.
Yeah, do you guys got any?
And then the last thing I could think of that's just like really commonplace American is like wearing certain clothing, or like growing up when we watched the Eagles game, if they were doing well, my dad would be like, all right, no one go to the bathroom or change seats if they're doing bad.
I can get behind that.
Why?
Because it's fun. It makes it fun and you feel like you're part of the game, but deep down I know I'm not doing anything. But when
you are maybe.
But when the Pistons were in the NBA Finals against the Lakers, we did this thing. Whenever the Lakers were shooting a free throw, we would all go like this, and we would like point it right at Shaq's eyes or like Kobe's eyes, and it's fun because there was like 10 of us, and we were just all doing this. And then whenever
that's like insane.
Whenever he would miss, though, we all thought like pretended that it was us, and we like celebrated.
You didn't pretend; you actually believed it was your fault. So that to me is more crazy than like walking under a ladder. You know.
Yeah, but deep down I know I'm not really doing anything. Julius, you need to take a chill pill.
You are.
Take a chill pill. You want a chill pill? 200 milligram.
Do you guys have anything else? And then I'll go through the food ones.
Food superstitions?
Not superstitions, but misconceptions.
Many people have seen shadow people when they stay up too long. It has been reported by many people to all see the same thing, states apart.
Okay.
Is that just like a delusion?
Yeah, it's not like a... Yeah. It's just like anecdotes that are commonplace.
Knocking on wood if you talk about something bad?
Big person here of knock on wood.
You always do this too. You're like...
Yeah. I have my weird things. You gotta love me, you gotta hate me. So then there's that language misconception, and I believe this. I tell people this. So it's often assumed that young children learn languages more easily than adolescents or adults.
Yeah.
However, the reverse is true. Older people learn faster, apparently. The only exception to this rule is that pronunciation. So if you learn a language at a young age, you sound like you speak it a lot better as you age.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But older people actually...
That is a misconception?
Yeah.
That seems, from what I know in my life, so true. Is there
Everyone
anything...
says it.
Is there anything like, if you're multilingual, it's easier to learn more languages?
I was looking for that one because I believe that too, and I say that.
Because I'm just like a lifer English only, basically. Like I can
Yeah.
do bonjour and like a little bit of French, but...
I think maybe it's just the pronunciation because I can pronounce Spanish words, like just other words, a lot better. I don't know if I'm better at learning them though, per se. I don't know. It's out there though. Anything else?
Shadow people are ancestors keeping watch over you.
Okay, you don't gotta freak me out with this stuff.
Ever had a dream come true?
Yeah. I dream about like real life situations, I feel like.
Yeah, sometimes I'll have a dream that like applies to life a little bit, but never like a dream come true.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, and then the food misconceptions. Searing meat seals in moisture. I remember learning this
Yeah.
from Kenji's book. But yeah, it actually doesn't sear in moisture when you're or doesn't
Seal
in moisture because when you're searing meat, you're cooking the muscle, so it's tightening up, and so moisture is coming out of it. So like if you think like putting a ton of butter on a whole roast chicken, when you roast it, it's gonna mean it's gonna be buttery and more moist inside.
No.
That's not true at all because the butter just comes out. Everything comes out. All the moisture seeps out. According to the USDA, so this is in regards to cooking alcohol off. You believe like, oh, the alcohol is cooked off.
Yeah.
But according to the USDA, 75% of the alcohol remains after flambeing.
Whoa.
25% after 1 hour of baking or simmering, and 10% after 2 hours of baking or simmering.
Dang, that's a lot more than I thought.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too. That MSG triggers migraines.
I think MSG is largely a myth. Yeah.
So although there have been reports of MSG exacerbating migraines, a sensitive subset of people, there has not been any demonstration of this actually true in placebo-controlled trials.
I've seen one thing on Food Network where they told everyone they gave them MSG food with MSG in it,
And
the people were like doing like this, and the lady's like, I have the worst MSG headaches always every time I eat MSG, and then they're like, there's no MSG in there. What are you talking about?
Oh, I would love to see that woman. I'd be like, what are you gonna say now?
But I think the downside of MSG is it just makes things taste so good that you can't stop eating them.
That's why my son sleeps after the vodka sauce pasta. Deja vu is weird. I like deja vu, like I love it almost. It's like a love-hate relationship, don't you think?
Deja vu?
Yeah. And then Twinkies have a shelf life of approximately 45 days.
Whoa!
Yeah,
I guess they're a cake.
Yeah, not like they're years.
Yeah.
We always talk about it, right? It's that one example. You're like, you know how shelf stable they are for years and years? It's like, no, it's 45 days. It's interesting.
I've seen things that were, what is it? No, maybe I haven't seen that. Never mind.
And then the last thing, fortune cookies are extremely rare in China. Where they are seen, it's a symbol of American cuisine.
Oh.
I
I feel like there's a lot of things like that.
Yeah. I can't think of, I mean, just like American way of cooking Chinese food and Indian food and Thai food. It's not like traditional food back in those countries.
Yeah, I'm not one of those people that needs it to be traditional, though. I just want it to taste good. I'm not like, I
Yeah.
need to be a purist for it to be authentic.
But like fortune cookies are just, to us, right? They're Chinese cookies. But it's like they don't even exist in China.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of weird.
Okay. You're not reading any of the comments. I want to
Oh.
see people.
I'm late to the show. I look forward to this every week. MSG makes me super tired and lethargic, someone says.
Yeah, it's anecdotal for sure.
Chicken tikka was invented in Glasgow, UK. Yeah, actually, an interesting fact is that chicken tikka is the national dish of England.
Yeah.
Which, it's crazy how much the Indian influence is there. It's kind of like, I don't know, what do we get a lot of takeout in America? Like Chinese food, I guess?
Yeah.
Everyone in UK gets Indian.
Well, British colonized India.
Yeah. We don't get Indian takeout much at all in the US.
A lot of people do.
Not that much. I didn't have Indian food till I was like 26.
Yeah, I guess Midwest, but do you get Chinese food with your
Yeah,
parents?
we would get Chinese food.
That's weird. Why don't they like Indian food?
There just wasn't. I don't even think there was an Indian restaurant where I'm from.
Ever been in sleep paralysis? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple
In
times.
high school, my dad would like come in to check on me, and I'd want to roll over, but I can't. And my eyes are just like, it's freaky.
It is.
Caesar salad is from Tijuana.
Is that true?
Someone said that. Now we're just making stuff
I
up,
think that
guys.
might be a made up thing, but I believe it. There's a place in San Francisco that has authentic Indian Pakistani food. Curry up now? No, that's not authentic at all.
No.
Blah, blah, blah. Okay, should I go on to the Mouse Utopia experiment?
Yeah, Matt Newbold said, I have yet to find a study where aspartame is actually bad for you, and I've done a bunch of research.
Yeah,
Haven't you
same.
said the same?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, guys, you ready for my favorite topic? The Mouse Utopia experiment.
Do you have 2 wings, bro?
Well, I'm going to eat more. Yeah, I'm probably going to eat. Usually I eat on screen, but I guess I'm just going to eat afterwards. These are also really hard to eat.
Yeah, they're super hard to eat.
Okay, so and you guys can look into this in more detail too. It's pretty interesting, and I think the ways we interpret it will be different. So get interactive, guys. Let me know what you think. In 1968, there was this person. His name was John B. Calhoun. And a big thing in the 60s, which I didn't know, is overpopulation became a huge subject of public interest, and it had a large cultural influence. I would probably compare it to like global warming. Whoa. Oh my gosh.
Joyous.
I would compare it to kind of like the fears over global warming today. Like it's a talking point in culture. It's a big deal, right? That's how overpopulation was in the 1960s. So that is the era when John Calhoun is coming up, and he decides his first experiment. This is when he's not too established. So he just gets some land, and he just like asks some guy like, hey, can I use your land to do some experiment? And he didn't tell him the full details, but this is before the real Mouse Utopia experiment. This is his early days. So he sets up a big, large pen that's inescapable for rats, and they have as much food, as much water as they need. So all their needs are met. Everything's taken care of. He starts with 2 rats, and he just lets them run wild, right? And he estimates the total capacity is 6,000. That's how many rats could be sustained in that area.
Okay.
And to his surprise, this is his first encounter with this, the population stabilized at 200 and never rose above 230. But
Okay.
there was symptoms of overpopulation despite all of the room, because the rats would cluster into small, densely populated areas, and no one would wander into like the outskirts. They were all in these like a few major groups. Clumps. And in those small groups, overpopulation would set into a concept that Calhoun would term a behavioral sink. And this is the key concept that he like basically researched the entire time. This is what he concluded. A behavioral sink is the collapse in behavior resulting from overcrowding. And we'll go into more details on what that looks like exactly. But essentially, he cuts this experiment off when the mouse population just plateaus at 230.
Okay.
And then his second experiment, we're going screen share. His second experiment here is this. Do you see it? Mm-hmm. It's another experiment using rats, and he sets 4 quadrants. And in 2 of the quadrants, there's ground food, which is really easy to eat, and there's no like real effort. You just walk up, scoop it in your mouth.
This is such a weird thing this guy thought up.
Yeah. And then in the other 2 feeding areas, it was pellet food behind a wire fence. So there's like a good amount of effort that goes into getting the food. And what ended up, and then this wall right here, you can see there's ladders over these walls. So
Yeah.
so the mice can climb over those, obviously, but this
Okay.
wall right here, you can't climb over.
Oh.
So what begins happening? It starts out with a few mice. They reproduce. Everything's going fine. Then eventually the males start to square off, and these bridges
the
become
males only?
yeah, the males. These bridges become like war zones, and people are marking their territory. The mice are marking their territory, and what happens is a large amount, 80% of the mice end up in these quadrants here.
The pellet ones?
I think I don't know exactly
One
how
round, one-
I don't know exactly how the food is split up, but all of the mice are jammed in this little area, overcrowded. And then there's a few males that have their selection of females in these less populated areas. And then there's a bunch of weird behaviors that come out with the mice, and like the mothers, the more things become overpopulated, the less care the mothers take of their children, basically. And
Okay.
they just like right when they're born, they just basically don't really feed them and stuff. And
That's so weird.
at certain points, there's up to a 96% infant mortality rate. Okay.
Anyone have thoughts?
So now we're getting
Or just
to.
listening?
Okay, so that is just setting the stage for the granddaddy of them all. His magnum opus. Calhoun constructs a 101-inch square cage, and this time instead of using rats, he's using mice. And I have
Are mice like smarter?
no,
Or how are they different? Do we know like their breeding style or like their housing style? Do you know anything?
I think the one difference is mice nest. They like take material
yeah.
and they make nests, but I don't know how
Rats
different
are
they are.
savage.
Yeah. But there is some differences. So what he does here, his 101-inch square cage for mice, food, water, and it's continually replenished to suit any size population. He called it Universe 25. He started with 4 breeding pairs of mice. So huge location, 8 total mice. They start breeding. Day 1 of the experiment. After 1 year, the initial 8 mice had grown to 620 members living in relative harmony.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. I was thinking, I
Do
didn't
mice
understand.
breed slower than rats?
No, they breed faster. But I was thinking, I was always thinking like you just have one kid at a time, but you have like mice have multiple, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the reason. Okay. So
No.
around day 335, though, Calhoun marked this as the beginning of the end. Society collapses gradually, but there's one abrupt point where he basically says, this is where society collapsed, and it's the beginning of the end. This is on day 335. So initially, before this, the population was doubling every 55 days.
That's quick.
And day 335 onward, it began doubling at 145 days.
Huh.
And it doesn't make sense why it would slow down because there's so much space. You would think it would actually increase in how fast it's
Because
doubling.
there's more rats. There's
Yeah.
more mice.
And basically, this is what he starts to identify. The male mice with no territory to defend or food to secure, they began forming gangs and fighting other mouse gangs for no real reason.
I didn't know gangs existed in Mouse World.
Well, it's probably not a gang, but it's just like, like a pack.
Yeah, I didn't know they travel. I guess they travel in packs, right?
Yeah,
Rats
maybe they do.
and like I think like sewers and stuff.
Females stopped caring for their young and sometimes even attacked them. Eventually, males and females stopped breeding completely. And there's a certain subset of the male mice began mating with male and female mice, attempting to. These are the males that were not like the dominant ones. They were more just like when they saw a lapse in like the dominant male's coverage, they would like swoop in, like sneakily.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
more sneaky mice. So that is like a new subset of mice that began forming, the sneaky mice. And then certain pens were overcrowded. They had 50 plus mice when they were designed to hold 20, and there was some pens that were completely empty directly next door. Like,
And how could you get to them easily?
so there's a picture. Is this the one? Yeah. Okay. So if you see here, this is the center, and then you can walk up here, and there's the borough, or like the housing areas. So essentially, there'd be a ton overcrowded in one, and then none in another one.
Whoa.
So even though the societies were at nowhere near its max capacity, there was still signs of overcrowding and the breakdown of society.
Okay.
And the most alarming group to Calhoun were the mice, male and female, that withdrew themselves from mouse society completely. They did nothing but sleep, eat, and groom themselves. They were given the nickname the beautiful ones because they didn't meddle with the other mice. Some of them would go their entire lives with no interaction with another mouse. Just sat near the upper areas of the cage, eating, grooming, etc. And throughout their entire lives, they would make no attempt to mate. And Julius, no. Okay. Where is it? Okay. So what Calhoun did, he identified the different phases. Phase A was the adjustment phase from day 0 to day 104. Phase B was the exploitation phase, 104 to 315. And that was where they were just like doing well. They were massively expanding, exploiting their environment. Phase C was the stagnation phase, day 315 to 560, where the population just kind of stagnated for a while. And then phase D he called death, from day 560 until the last mouse died. And every mouse at the time he defined as phase D, every mouse was born after the breakdown of society. An entire generation of young had been rejected by their mothers early and were then unable to exhibit normal social behaviors. And they never had kids. They just didn't essentially know how to be a mouse, and like, you know, yeah, they just, the downfall of society, basically.
Whoa.
The last birth in Universe 25 took place on day 600. And it's crazy that there's so that was like what was weird to me. There's a last birth on day 600, and then all the way for the next couple hundred days, like there would be times when there's like 50 mice now, and they're still not breeding at all.
Yeah.
Because it's just, it doesn't interest them, you know? So even when the population returned to levels where it previously thrived, the mice did not go back to their old ways. The society remained damaged beyond repair.
Well, all the ones that were originally breeding, I would imagine the first ones are dead at this point. So it's just all the ones that are damaged.
Yeah.
Who don't breed.
All of them were born after the society broke down.
That makes sense then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Calhoun says he could easily pinpoint the moment the society broke down. It was like a light switch. Their spirit has died the first death. They are no longer capable of executing the more complex behaviors compatible with species survival. The species in such settings die. From this point, Calhoun, so that was it. That was like his big experiment. That's what we still talk about today. It's like made its way into psychology and just like a bunch of different things, mental health, all of that. And from that point, just a few things that didn't really matter that much, but he continued onward, doing more experiments. And what he found was a similar Universe 25 type setup, but he provided the mice with creative outlets. And I didn't look at what actually the creative outlets were.
Maybe like a little wheel to spin around.
Yeah, maybe things like that. And it increased the species' survival and the society breakdown, although it did still occur eventually.
That's fantastic. That's interesting. Okay, so he just redid it over again with other stuff?
I don't know if it was as big of a scale.
Okay.
What are the people saying?
Nothing about this, really.
Oh. This is interesting. Yeah, look into it, guys. Mouse Utopia is the secret of NIM. Yeah, so I didn't look into that, but there's a lot of ties, because NIM is the National Institute of Mental Health, and Calhoun did this experiment under NIM. That's where he did it in that like one of their places. And then I don't remember the movie Secrets of NIM, but I do like remember watching it as a child.
Is it good? We should watch it.
It's a cartoon.
Oh, I'm confused then about how is that a cartoon movie if it's national medical or mental health?
I don't know. They never say it. They just say Secret of NIM. I never like put it together.
What kind of creatures are in it?
I think mice. I can't remember though.
It's weird that they made this into a cartoon.
Let me look it up.
Yes, inbreeding. Read The Collapse of Complex Society. Very interesting read. I haven't watched that movie since kindergarten.
Yeah, it's mice. Secret of NIM.
And it's similar to The Experiment? Or is it just a fun...
I remember it just being like a fun cartoon. But
Okay. I was going to get confused. I was confused. I was like, why are we watching that?
And a lot of people will try to apply this to human society, obviously.
I think the only thing that I thought applied to human society was introducing activity. You thrive more. So just like more active person, they're fulfilled mentally and physically.
Yeah, you need some purpose. That's obviously a big part of fulfillment.
Yeah,
right?
and thriving and living longer for sure.
What else you guys got?
Are you picking an Indian name for your son? I named my daughter Priya. We were originally thinking an Indianish name, but now we're going full-fledged American.
Should we tell them what the name is?
I don't. When do you reveal a name? Is it that
know.
big of a deal?
Do we know if anyone has recreated this experiment? Not to my knowledge. That all sounds like the world, but most specifically Japan, said someone.
It doesn't really sound like the world, though. Like, moms aren't attacking their children. Unless you're saying we haven't gotten to that point yet.
Is that a spider in the light? No, right?
No.
But you can maybe say, like, parents are caring for their kids less. I don't know if that's true or not, but...
And just tending to themselves?
I don't know.
Sag paneer recipe is amazing. Thank you.
Hey, that is a bad boy.
He's needing our attention
Yeah.
bad.
He loves us.
We can't engage.
Pick him up.
He doesn't like sitting on my lap. It's so small.
I want to tell you guys one other story that really for some reason stuck with me. I think it was never a real thing. It was just like a hypothetical story I heard once and I loved it. I think I told you this before too. So basically there's 5 monkeys and there's a ladder, and at the top of the ladder there's like some really good food like bananas. Mm-hmm. And whenever the monkeys climb the ladder, whenever one of the monkeys climbs the ladder, sprinklers will come down on all the monkeys. It gets them wet and they hate it. Right? So at the start, a monkey would try to climb the ladder, the water would spray down, they would kind of learn. Then another monkey would try to climb the ladder, it would spray, and this became obvious. So then they stopped trying to climb the ladder.
Yeah.
They took one of the existing monkeys out, put a new one in. That one, obviously, bananas, immediately starts climbing the ladder. But as it goes to climb the ladder, the other monkeys beat it up. They don't let him go.
Is this going to be a sad monkey story?
No, it's not sad. And they continue doing this. They take one of the original monkeys out, put a new one in, and the same thing happens. They just don't let it climb the ladder. So it doesn't even try. And then continue.
Oh, so the rain doesn't even come.
No.
So
continue the process. And there's 5 monkeys that were never there. They've never actually seen the rain fall down, but they don't try to climb the ladder up to the food.
That's sad. It's a monkey story.
Yeah. And it has a lot of ways you could apply it to life, I guess.
Yeah.
And basically it's this is just the way we've always done it. That's kind of the takeaway. You don't look into things for yourself. This is the way we do it.
But what about that newest monkey?
What do you mean?
He doesn't even try? The new monkey that's put in? The last new monkey?
Well, the last new monkey, he tries, but the monkeys don't let him.
Okay, so there's an attempt.
Yeah.
They don't just stay.
Every new monkey initially tries. But then it's just the other monkeys enforcing it. They're like, you don't go up there.
That's sad. That's just the way it is. Someone said. Julius is hungry. We gotta feed him.
Yeah, whenever Julius barks, it messes with people's ears. Unfortunately, we're sorry,
so
and it gets
sorry.
other dogs barking.
China create ghost towns to help with overpopulation. They build a whole city with no occupants, hoping people will move there. Creepy.
I've heard that too. People have told me that before. I've never really looked into it, but maybe we could do that for a mystery one day.
Yeah.
I think next week we just got to go back to textbook mysteries, like crimes.
Yeah. This is sad, and that does kind of apply to humans too, especially religion. A lot of people don't even think to consider other religions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Religion's kind of like a birth thing. You get it when you're born.
Yeah, and same with superstitions.
Are superstitions?
For me, it was.
All right, guys. It's a sad world. See, I don't think it's a sad world, is it? If you say it's a sad world, then you're going to see a sad world.
Yeah, your perspective's off, air ASMR. It's a beautiful world, and we're fortunate to be here.
Even if it's not a beautiful world, saying it's a sad world repeatedly doesn't really do much.
Well, you're reinforcing it to yourself, and
Yeah.
you believe it. You believe it's a sad world.
Yeah.
It's like forcing yourself to be happy by smiling.
Yeah, like that sitting smiling guy you remember from last week? 2 weeks ago?
Eventually, you kind of just force it, right?
All right, guys. I think that's it. We got a recipe for you tomorrow, like always.
We love ya. Have a good night.